One of the most effective and least used tools in the Christian tool belt is prayer. It's unbelievable. Think about it. You and I, if we believe in Jesus, if we have a relationship with Him, we have an opportunity to enter into a conversation with the Creator of the universe. It's unbelievable the potential impact we could have through prayer, but so many of us don't pray. We can't find the time, or we get bored or distracted, or when we do sit down to pray, we quickly devolve into asking God for things. Now I want you to think about this analogy. Imagine you're sitting in a room, it's a dark room, and you've got a blindfold on. And I'm asking you to just sit there in the room with your blindfold on and listen. And I bring a total stranger into the room and have them start to talk to you. Do you think you could recognize the stranger by the sound of their voice? Could you tell me what their name is, or a little bit about their life story, maybe some of the things they like and don't like? Of course not. You couldn't recognize a stranger's voice just by what they're saying. That's impossible. That's ridiculous. We know that you could never do that. You don't know the person, so it doesn't matter how they talk or what they say, you won't be able to recognize them. But now imagine you're sitting in the same room with your blindfold on, and I brought your mom or your dad or your best friend into the room, someone you love dearly. And I had this person stand really far away from you and start to talk. And they're shouting really, really loudly. How long would it take for you to recognize their voice? It'd be instant, right? You would immediately know who that person was because you love them, you know them, you've spent hundreds, if not thousands of hours in conversation with them. But what if I brought them really, really close to you and I had them whisper something to you? How long would it take to recognize their voice then? Well, it'd still be instant, right? You know this person, you love them, you'd recognize their voice whether they were whispering in your ear or shouting from across the room. Now, I think the same thing is true for God through prayer. You see, when we know God, when we've gotten to know Him and heard His voice through things like Scripture, through church on Sunday morning, through worship, when we learn to hear God's voice, then whether He's whispering or He's shouting, we instantly recognize that it's Him. And so I know that prayer can be difficult. I know it's easy to get distracted, to get confused, to just ask God for things. But I want to encourage you today to take a second to pause and to pray. Not just to talk to God, but to sit and listen for His voice. And I promise, it might be difficult at first, but I promise the more and more that you and I spend time listening to God, hearing Him through Scripture and through prayer, the better we'll be at recognizing His voice. And the most powerful tool that we have in our life is to listen to God's voice and to do what He says. I hope you're encouraged today to pause, to listen, and to pray.